What's up, squad? It's Rich here. Thank you for checking out the RMR Training Podcast. We have a doozy today. First, we catch up with our girl, Meg Jacoby. She fills us in on what's been going on with her physically, where her season stands. We talk a lot about her journey in the first 20-ish minutes or so of the podcast. Then we jump on a trend. We talk about what we were doing in 2016. When we first started the podcast episode, I really wasn't sure what this episode was going to bring, but I think there's a tremendous amount of insight where it comes to the differences in all of our stories and where we came from and where we are now and what that process was really like, right? So there's not a ton of nuts and bolts here when it comes to how to train for HYROX, but really more about like the journey, the mindset. I think there's a lot of really cool takeaways. We talked for a long time because it was a really fun, interesting thing to talk about. We didn't know each other back then, so we really dove into it. So I think you'll enjoy. Thank you for checking out the podcast. Take a look at the RMR Training App for all of your HYROX training needs. We got myself in there, Ryan Kent's in there, Meg Jacoby's in there, Coach Hannah Taylor's in there. We are all in there just giving advice, letting people know how to train for this thing. And we have over a dozen different programs for HYROX, so we meet the needs of pretty much every athlete who is training for this event. So take a look at the RMR Training App. We appreciate you. Hope you like this episode. All right. Hello. Welcome to the RMR Training Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan. Joined today, full squad. We got Ryan Kent and Meg Jacoby. I think this is our first full squad of the year. In a minute.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough. We're all in different places. Got a lot going on.
Yeah. I just come around, as a narrative, like new parents, kind of like a disaster. And I was like, nah, I'm going to be good. And now I've just decided I'm going to be a disaster, and that's just going to be how it is. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to lean in now. I'm just going to not have any control over what I used to have. So I'm at peace with that, which is good.
Is it getting worse? Harder?
No, I mean, not necessarily harder or worse by any means. Like, we're actually doing a better job with her in terms of her sleep during the day and just managing, she's more pleasant and just kind of managing that. But at first I wanted to just try to do all of the things that I had been doing. And it's like, no, it's not going to work like that. Or I wanted to have a little bit more control over the schedule, right? Like have it kind of blocked out. Now it's like, I need to just have my priorities. And then after that, it's like, sorry, it's not going to work.
When you see an opening, you take it. That's what you learn. I remember those days. I was like, oh my God, she's napping. I can do a workout without interruption for 30 minutes.
For sure.
I gotta do it. And the last thing I wanted to do was that. I also wanted to nap, but I was like, I won't have any other time. So
yeah, you used to have blocks of time to do stuff.
Yeah.
No more blocks of time. But we're feeling good. We are 2-ish weeks from the race out in Phoenix. Meg, you just a couple of days ago kind of went on social to kind of give people updates on what's going on with you. So why don't we just talk about that for a bit? What's up in your world? Just what's been up?
Yeah. So fun. Another bump in the road, you guys. This one stung a little bit more maybe because I have obviously been on kind of a real positive roll with running 2 of my best HYROX times. So, and then, half PB, and training was going really good until literally was in Florida visiting my brother during the holidays. It was right around New Year's. I had a great session the next day, kind of woke up with a lot of fluid around my knee. And that was when it was okay, this definitely doesn't seem normal. But I've had this apparently for quite some time. It's not a new injury. I didn't know that. So that's kind of the negative side is I was trying to think in my over the last few years, if anything happened that I remember, a fall or or twist or something weird, but I really don't have anything. So I think just kind of wear and tear over time. But not a great time to find that out. So not a great time for this to kind of flare up. But this is the funny part. I was not super conservative with my back. I got a lot of comments about that. Now I'm being conservative about my knee, and I'm also getting a lot of comments about that. So I would really love to not have people diagnose me on the internet. That'd be great. But I'm definitely treating this with a ton of caution, trying to come back conservatively. And the worst thing for me would to be to have another surgery. So I'm really trying to avoid getting to that point. So we are doing PRP directly in the knee joint. I did my first treatment this week.
What's PRP?
Didn't feel good. It's where they take your blood and they separate the blood cells and then they re-inject to like help healing.
Plasma
But you have
rich
to stay.
platelets,
Yes,
right?
exactly. You have to stay off of it. So that's the biggest thing is like 48 hours. I have to do very, very little, which has been interesting. So I hopped into some Pilates, just did some rehab stuff, lots of core work because I got to do something. Did some upper body, got some bench and, just working around it, but not doing anything to impact the knee. And I'm being very, very wise about this. I think that's one thing like people were kind of asking me like, so are you going to like train super hard and work around it? And the answer for me is no. The answer is to let it recover. And so I'm pulling back the training to try to really embrace this process in hopes that it will work. The percentage of it working to begin with isn't like super great if you were to look at it like from a pure data standpoint, but especially not if you're not actually giving it an opportunity to. So I'm a big proponent, and I think this is where a lot of people go wrong with injuries. And this is just from my anecdotal, going through it the last year and change now. A lot of people try to push through too much and then end up just stagnating the recovery process. When I think if they just backed off and like let their brain like relax and maybe didn't try to just work around it super hard, they might get better sooner. And that's just kind of like been my personal experience. So that's what I'm doing. And, the timing, like I said, is not great. I was really hoping to like throw down in Phoenix. I feel like I can be up there with the best of them. So I was really excited to test myself against, the other ladies, but especially the ladies that have been, on the podium. I felt like I'm definitely right in there. The times proved it. But that's also what I have going for me is I've already done this once and I have the proof and I know exactly what to do. So for me, I'm way more calm and like getting past the initial announcement part of it. I feel really, really good and really at peace with it. I think that's the hardest part is having to go online and post about it when you don't really want to. I'm going to be really honest. I really don't want to have to share all of these issues. But I also want to control the narrative because obviously all the social media is going to start being posted about the lineup and HYROX is going to make their announcements. And I also don't want people to get the wrong idea or come up with a story or it not be correct information. So I felt like I should get ahead of it by sharing what's going on. And obviously I know that can help a lot of other people. And that's what it's for. It's definitely not to like try to gain sympathy. It's really to just share like, this is what I'm going through. It's really hard. I hope everybody else can, take something for themselves from this. And maybe it can help others going through similar stuff because everyone's going to go through this. This is pro sports. This happens and it will continue to happen. I probably will have other things flare up at, some point or another. And now I have two issues I have to be mindful of going forward in my training. And I already have a plan on how to handle that. But I think the biggest thing for me is, like I said, I have proof. I've put in a really amazing, solid block of time that yielded my best results. So I know that's all I have to do again, and I can be back where I was. So that feels good. There's still time, but I'm really taking the time to like go through the process and really try to let it work. And so that's been a very big, these guys could probably, especially Rich, who has coached me, they can say this level of personal development for Meg is top fucking notch.
Yeah, like
a lot of good job,
differences.
Meg.
Yeah, like if this was even like 2 years ago, you'd probably be like, I'm just gonna like put some icy hot on there.
Yep.
Just figure
Just
it
throw
out.
a Band-Aid on it.
I'm showing
Get
up.
a knee brace. I'm gonna be there.
The
So yeah.
well, the idea of like getting out in front of it, right, and controlling your own narrative, I find is if you were, changing the behavior because you are very visible and people are interested
Yep.
in what you're doing in the sport is just growing, the sport's becoming more visible, so either you would have to answer questions and kind of have to like lie about it, or just
Yeah.
be like,
Your
here's,
girl's not good at that.
and that's,
Your
and you'd
girl's
have to
not
do
good
it,
at that.
you probably have to do it a lot, like over and over, and like that would not feel very
A
good.
ton.
Right.
And again, like I was really excited for this and talking about like the lead up to Phoenix and like on all my social stuff. So yeah, it was definitely the right move. The other side is, there's always people who like to make up stories and I don't appreciate that. So
Right.
I don't need any of that. I'm a human. So I prefer it to be like the right story if it's being talked about. But yeah, I mean, and I think the other thing is too, like you feel disappointed. Then, Linda and I were planning on racing together. So I actually shot her a text. She was one of the first people I told because I feel like I owe that to her to give her an opportunity to try to find somebody else. To maybe they want to get a time beforehand or get a time there just in case. Cause like I said, I don't know what it's going to look like and I'm not making any plans. I'm making no plans. I'm just taking it a step at a time, day by day, week by week, and we'll see where we're at after this process is over. And then then I'll start looking ahead and kind of figuring out what I want to do. But I'm not that level of disappointment when you start setting yourself up for plans and you have those plans in your mind. And you're preparing for something, I know what that level of disappointment feels like. And this is now the second time I've had it. And that really hurt. So like just staying in the moment, not getting ahead of myself, not letting my head get the best of me. I think that's controlling the mind in this stuff is way harder than anything else, and so this is something and I mean this wholeheartedly. I am a threat as an athlete because of the level of mindset I've had to develop going through these issues. This has made me, I've never had to fight harder for something than the last 2 years. You know what I mean? For something I want and something I want to get to. And that level of resilience that you build, that has made me a 10-time better athlete and also way more appreciative of the moments when it's going well. I mean, you saw me, I'm getting emotional, but you saw me in Stuttgart, like full breakdown the second I crossed the finish line because like I know what it feels like to have to pull out so many times when it's something you really want. And just the feeling of it didn't even matter. It was a PB and all of that. It didn't even matter. It was just getting to the finish line for the first time in a year, after everything I went through. So it makes you really appreciate every opportunity you have to line up. And, it's just something I will have way more gratitude and appreciation for as I go through my career. And I really, really value that I've had that experience and I can enjoy the moments because we tend to over, we're always the next thing and then the next thing. And we skip over those huge win moments because we're chasing the next goal. And so for me, I've really gotten so much more at peace and in tune with myself that I sit in those moments and I enjoy them because I know what it feels like not to have them. So yeah, I think it's like the personal development that comes with this is something I'll never take for granted, and I certainly don't regret. It'd be nice if I could get like one season good before another one happens, that would be cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of who I am and who I've become through all of this. So I hope that, if anything comes from it, that resonates with people.
Meg's taken the lead, I think, on the crying
You wish.
thing.
No
Meg,
way. Not even close. But I thought you were gonna get through it. I was like, all right. I was like, wow. I was like, yeah, she's not gonna cry. I was like, oh, never mind. She's crying. It's just happening.
In
I mean, you
my
grow-
defense, it's also like the bad week. So I'm just
It's
gonna give
worth
myself.
crying over.
I
that.
made it pretty far without the tears.
You did.
Yeah,
I think everyone experiences the most growth when they go through hardships and challenges.
for sure.
Like if
For
shit
sure.
was easy all the time, like we just wouldn't evolve as people, and
Definitely.
I think for me and my setbacks that I've had these last 2 years is honestly letting go of the control and just honestly being like, look, this is out of my hands. I'm going to do everything I can to prepare myself and do all the right things. But at the end of the day, like it's God's plan, right? Like
Yeah.
it all like timing. You may want something to happen on your time, but God or whoever, universe, however you want to look at spirituality, religion, like that's the higher power. That's the control, and sometimes it's
Yep.
kind of freeing to let go of all the things that you try to control all the time,
For sure.
And there was one thing I was going to say about resilience, but I totally spaced out on what I was going to say. But I think you're going to become a better version if you choose to come back from this. Like, yeah, like how could you not be like a more mentally tough athlete from enduring setback after setback? And I think that's why I have fallen in love with the process these last 2 years more than I ever have fallen in love with the process, because I haven't been able to get the results that I want. Like I have to love the day-to-day work, because that's where I'm showing up every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that's just an important lesson for everyone to take ownership of, is like, you need to fall in love with the process of the training, because more times than not, the result is probably going to be disappointing, because everyone sets big goals, have high expectations for themselves, and either they show up to that race and they don't hit their goal, or an injury pops up and they're not able to even go to the race. It's so important to fall in love with the day-to-day. And I think that's like the biggest lesson I've taken away from like my past 2 years is like, I haven't always been process driven. I've been very much results driven, and what that gives me as a person. And now I'm like, I look forward to the training every single day because of the setbacks that I've had. It never would have allowed me to have the mindset that I have around all of this now, and understanding that, okay, my identity actually isn't tied up in results anymore. And that I always wondered what that would be like, because I knew that was how I was. Like I always wondered what it would be like to have to break away from that. And I feel like in the last 2 years, I've been able to kind of break that chain of having my worth be tied to my results, because reality is I haven't had results in the last 2 years, but obviously I'm still here as a human, and I'm proud of who I am outside of all that. So it's just one of those things, man. Like the journey, and this is part of your journey and your story, and it's okay that it's not this like straight uphill, like you're climbing. Like you need to have these falls along the way and then overcome that. And that's just part of your story. And I think that's ultimately what makes any story good, is the challenges that come along. Like you see the athletes that do, Hunter's a great example of this. Like Hunter has kind of been like on the top for a long time. He hasn't had many times where he's really fallen off for an extended period of time. It's really hard to stay on top, and I give him credit for that. But like for me, like what's appealing is like, man, what if you lose it all and then what does that person do then? How do they respond? And
For
come
sure.
back from that. And, this is a great opportunity for you,
Yeah. I was actually thinking about it, like, it's taken, when I won in 2024, the level of fight I had then is absolutely nothing compared to what I have now. Like, the amount of fight I have to have in my soul to keep trying to pursue this is nothing like the fight you need to win something. Does that make sense? Like, it's
100%.
way easier to like be doing well and just like keep going for it. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that. This takes a lot more, and it's like a lot more. It takes a lot more out of me too. You know what I mean? So I'm very proud of that fact, because there's been. I wish I could explain in a way that, like, this doesn't sound negative. The amount of days I've wanted to quit, and I keep showing the fuck up and hoping and believing, like, everything in
Same.
me. It's not about being unmotivated. It's like, maybe my time's over. Maybe it's just never going to work again. Maybe I should just give up. And the amount of times that I still show up and just do the work, and then after, I'm like, you got it. And I have to talk myself through that over and over and over and over again. When I'm struggling in a race, that ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Compared to the daily conversations that I've had to have with myself when I'm in these kind of valleys.
Mhm.
To keep climbing, to keep climbing, to keep climbing, you'll get there. And that's really, really hard. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. So keep hoping for you, girl. Please, people, pray for me, please, please, please pray for me.
need those thoughts and
I
prayers.
need, I need those. I need the hopes and prayers. But yeah. So
Well, we got you. So I mean,
yeah.
it's worse for the sport when you're not there. It's so fun to see you race and be
Oh,
part
hell
of it
yeah.
all.
I know,
I bring
selfishly,
it. I
man,
bring that, like,
yo,
It's
and you
great
know
to
what?
have you out
I
there,
gotta
but
say, just to my community, y'all, when you text me those things like, that race was not the same without you, please know I live for that, and you make my whole ass week. Please keep telling me that shit, because then it helps me be like, I gotta be at the next one. I gotta give the people what they want. So I like that people find that I bring a level of energy that they feel like is missing. So that's always nice to hear. So thank you for that, y'all. Appreciate you.
but it's bigger than just the sport part, and that's I think a lot of the things that we've talked about is like this is your body, right? Like this is the one
Yes,
that you have,
exactly.
so it's like, and you're going to be doing this, and this is going to kind of go back to like the conversation that we had planned on having on who we were, right? Jumping on the 2016 trend. I'm really interested
Yeah.
to hear on like who you were then, because like we weren't doing HYROX, but I'm sure you were doing stuff. I'm
I was
guessing
doing
you
a
were
lot of
training.
stuff.
You were probably training a lot because that's just like
Yeah,
who you are. Like that's just what is like ingrained in you. It's what you love to do. So that is just when it comes down to it, to like making the decision, like you have to do what's in the best interest for your body at this
for
point.
sure. And Rich and I had this conversation privately a little bit. Going through what I've gone through in the last 2 years has really also kind of made me very cognizant of what is the trade and what is the payoff, and how much am I willing to pay, because everything comes with a cost, every single thing that you do. And so for me, like Rich was saying, and we'll get into it a little bit when we go back in time, but like, training is who I am. That's a huge part of my everyday life for as long as I can remember. So I am at the point where if the career side of sport isn't going to go great, I'm not willing to continue to sacrifice my body when I have an entire life to live, that I want to be training and being able-bodied and doing what I love. To risk it all kind of for a couple years, I've learned that that's not a trade that I'm willing to make. That's also why I'm taking my time again going through this, because I want to be 45 and training with my husband. He better be my husband by then. I want to be 40, I want to be rolling on the ground and playing with any future kids that I have. I want to be able to go travel the world and be active with my family and not be limited because I have a bad back or I had to have a knee replacement or something like that, right? So like you have to know for yourself what you're willing to potentially gamble and what you're not. And so that's something that I've also maturely have kind of been able to come to terms with for myself and my own personal life. So it's also why I'm being very careful. And I'll be making a lot of adjustments going forward in my training. I've already kind of come up with that plan and what that's going to look like. And it's going to be a lot different because I don't want to get to a point where I can't just do what I love and enjoy once this season of life as a professional is over. So
Right. And that's again a personal development side, because I could imagine I probably felt this way at some point too, where it's like being younger, it's like whatever, I don't care. I'm here in it
yeah,
now. Like, I
till
don't
the
care
wheels
about,
fall off.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like I don't think about 10, 20 years from now, but now that I've lived that amount of time, it's like, oh, like there's a lot more after this.
Yeah.
So it's not all worth
Exactly.
just like killing now. But I understand from a younger person's perspective, just being like, who cares? Like if I
Yeah.
can't do this, like I can't do anything. But that's just like
Not
how,
true.
that's just not how it is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our younger selves here. This trend, I'm pretty allergic.
Why was this a trend this year? Why was it not a trend in
Because
2025?
it's 1 decade ago. I don't
But it
know.
wasn't.
Yeah, you're right.
I
It
thought
could
the
have been
same thing.
2015.
And like the people who jump on these trends, I'm always just like, this is so stupid. But like I like reflection, and I don't think I've ever done something like this. Look back 10 years, like I know where I've been, and like it's all kind of like mashed in my brain of like past experiences. But like segmenting it out by 1 year, a decade ago, is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of interesting, and like how that all kind of shapes. So we're going to go back to our 2016 selves. We're going to tell who we were personally, professionally, what we're doing athletically. And then kind of have some questions on like what we learned from that, what we tell ourselves, things like that. So let's start with.
I can actually tell you what I was doing on this day.
On this day,
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I got my little notebook.
Is that your
Right
training
here.
book?
Yeah.
What was your workout 10 years ago today?
You want to know what's crazy is I was just bringing up Hunter's name. On this day, 10 years ago, Hunter and I did a Catalina trip. I was out in I was living in Mammoth Lakes, California.
The Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer. And I'd gone to Malibu to hang out with Hunter or something. And we took a boat from California over to Catalina. And in my notes, it says 20-mile hike from end to end, 6+ hours.
That's some
So
Spartan race stupid
we
shit.
did this.
Yeah.
10 years ago on this day, we did a 20-mile hike from one end of Catalina to the other end of Catalina.
That's pretty sick. In January like that?
Yeah.
That's really cool. By the way, shouts to my dad. It's his birthday today.
Oh,
shouts.
snap, dude.
Happy birthday,
So I was probably doing something with my dad
Mr. Ryan.
at this point, not doing a 20-mile hike. We did not do that, but that's pretty cool. And that's something else I learned. I think I have like 12 photos in 2016.
Yeah,
I was bad at
same.
taking photos. I don't know. I think the iPhone may not have been catching on the way that it has currently for me. But yeah, Ken, let's start with you, man. Like we're like that's an interesting, like that you just kind of did that thing. You probably just decided that day, like, hey, yeah, I'm free. Let's do that. So
I mean, in 2016, I was fully immersed in the Spartan race scene.
Where were you living?
I was
And
living
you were
in Mammoth.
30.
I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 years in. I was 2 years into my Spartan race journey. I had just moved back to Mammoth Lakes, California, which I had lived previously working for the ski resort in town. Not an athlete. Like when I was there working for the resort, I was like fitness, still part of my time as a pro athlete was completely gone. I moved back home, and then when I got introduced to Spartan race, I ended up moving back to Mammoth because I wanted to live in a high altitude place, live where mountains were, because a lot of the courses were on ski resorts. So I'm out in this little ski town, Mammoth Lakes, California, which is my wife's hometown. I did not know who she was at the time. There's a chance we were both there at the same time, but we did not meet at this time. So yeah, I'm doing Spartan races. Honestly, looking at my training log, I was training the way that I am now, pretty much, just a little more run volume. You know,
you weren't doing like ergs though.
No, I wasn't doing. Actually, I was doing ergs. Like on this week, it shows that I did 2x2K on the row.
Oh wow, no way.
2x2K.
You're probably
not
doing
very fast.
5s. Yeah.
Yeah, like 150.
Probably with terrible form and
yeah,
lots of arms and back.
I did a spin. I did a spin class.
That's Meg's world talking now. It's a mega former.
Don't mess with me on the bike.
Yeah.
But I was living
for that.
I was a single guy living out in California. Kind of just living my dream is what I was doing at this time. I had a second chance of becoming a pro athlete, and Spartan Race gave me that opportunity. So I was renting a room out in Mammoth from a buddy for like $500 a month. So if I won one Spartan Race, that paid for my rent for the month. And like if I had money for groceries, I was good. Like I didn't
because they used to pay out, Spartan would pay out $500, like 500, 250, 100 for podium at any race Saturday or Sunday, I think. Right, which is like actually pretty sick when you come from our world, like the road racing world. It's like you go to like a local 5K. If it's more than like $200, someone's showing up who can run like 14.
100%.
Right.
100%.
But the Spartan was like paying out okay at that time. And there was like, they had their own pro team where they kind of signed people to contracts. Was that now? Were you part of like the Spartan ecosystem in terms of like the pro team at this point?
Yes, I was.
So they were kind of funding you, right?
Correct. So I had a budget, like a travel budget to fly around the country and basically represent the Spartan Race brand.
This was probably so cool for you. There's a handful of athletes on it. It was small at the but eventually it was like the undoing of like professionalism in Spartan, because this would be like if HYROX paid athletes to go to certain venues, right? And like paid them to show up. And then when it came to like sponsors and control, like Spartan had it all. Right. So like then they kind of like were like, all right, we're done doing this, but we're still going to keep some control. And it ended up just being a really like Spartan kind of put the professionalism. They wanted it to be like a pro sport so bad that they did this thing, which ultimately undid it. But at the time, for our guy Kent, was dope. Had to be amazing.
For a couple years there, it was everything I ever could have dreamed of, which is funny looking back now, because HYROX has been on a whole nother level than what Spartan Race like ever was. But because it was so new to me at the time, man, like I thought every little free thing I got, even if it was,
a protein powder.
Yeah, it's just like
awesome.
I loved it all, man. I'm like, dude, I don't have to pay for this. Oh, I just made $200. Like, let's go. And now looking back on it, I'm like, man, like you weren't doing it, dude. Like it wasn't.
How'd it feel like it though? You were doing it.
For sure.
You went all in on something. You took a risk, kind of how like we've done now. Like we're lucky that HYROX is, exploding the way it is. It's a little bit, it's much more approachable and just like a better like product to make money than Spartan. But like you were doing it. You were like, hey,
sure.
I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna move out here. I'm gonna go all in on this thing. Where most people wouldn't. So that had to have been so sick.
And I think in 2016, I think I won like 15 Spartan races that year. I was just like on fire in 2016. And that summer, Hunter and I moved in together in Telluride, Colorado. Not Telluride, sorry. Durango. We rented a house together. It was me, him, and I think Matt Kempson was there.
Cool.
And we spent the summer just hanging out, training together. Was a good time.
Damn,
And
you were
then,
like boys. Like you actually like, I didn't realize that you guys like lived together.
yeah, we've got some history.
Yeah.
We got some history. I will say, after living with him for a summer, I was like, I can never do that again.
We're
I
good.
love you. I love you, Hunter. I love you, but I could never live with you. And then at later that year was when I got asked to do that show, The Selection, that was on the History
Oh,
Channel. So
yeah.
like, it was such a crazy year, man. I was, again, living in Mammoth, fucking crushing Spartan races, living out my dream, moved into a house with Hunter, and then I'm getting invited on like a TV show. It was just like, oh my God, like this is the life.
Crazy.
This is amazing. So I went and did The Selection, which was like a 2-week thing out in the desert in California, where they put us through like military challenges, which I have to bring this up. This was also the year that the Cleveland Cavaliers came
I
back from
knew
a
it.
3-1 deficit
I knew
and
he
won
was
the
going sports.
This was when they were down 3-1. No one had ever come back from 3-1 in the NBA Finals against that 2016 Warriors team that went 73-9. So
That
I
was
leave for
the Draymond nut punch, right?
yeah. So I leave for the show, right? And the series is 3-1. And I have to give over my cell phone when I go on this show. So I'm completely out of touch with reality and what's going on. And 2 weeks later, I get my phone back and I find out the Cavaliers came back and won the NBA Finals. I was like, you're kidding me. I just went through the most miserable 2 weeks of my life, and I missed the most epic NBA Finals of all time. I couldn't believe it.
It was sick. I was
they
watching.
came back and won, and
you were in a box. You're getting like tear gassed.
yeah.
I'm sitting there
Yeah.
drinking beer, watching freaking LeBron. Be like, man, crazy.
Oh, and I went to Alaska. I went up to see Matt Novakovich, who is also another Spartan race guy. He lives in Anchorage. My first time ever going to Alaska, I went there, was the craziest experience. Like, I remember I landed at like 10 p.m. at night and it was light out. And Matt was like, "You want to go for a hike?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, I just got off the plane. We drove to like a trailhead and did a midnight hike, and the sun was just like up in the sky. I thought it was like the most trippy
That's crazy
thing I've ever done. I don't know how people live there, in the winters when there's no sunlight, and then in the summer when it is sunny like 21 hours of the day. It's just a wild place to be.
Yeah, your rhythm. You got to be a little weird because of that sun
Yeah.
system up there. Little strange.
But I got a ton of just like culture, traveling, because I didn't travel a lot growing up, and doing Spartan races and meeting so many of the athletes and just traveling around. It was a real, that was just like, I fell in love with, I think, travel and culture around this time, because I had never done much of that growing up. It was very much like we just didn't take vacations or go anywhere. And I was free. I had my own money, and I was just seeing all these like cool places. And I just, honestly, I just felt like I was like, this is living. Like I wasn't saving any, like I had enough to get by, but I didn't have a wife. I didn't have kids. I didn't have any debt. It was just like, man, this is the life. And if I could just keep living this would be amazing. And it is kind of crazy to think, man, 10 years later, not much has really changed. I mean, I've changed,
right? Yeah.
I've changed sports and what I'm doing, but like the pursuit of excellence and like a craft is still alive and well. And it's actually, like, looking back on it, I'm like, man, I'm proud. I'm proud of, because I think some people think they want this life, and they want to be a pro athlete and have all the things that come along with that. But when it comes down to it, can you do it? Like, you might be able to do what it takes to be a pro athlete for a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. But can you keep at it at this level of training? Like, this shit is not easy. And looking at my training log here, it's like, man, like, dude, I've been doing 10 to 20 hour training weeks for a decade, you know, like a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. You know, even the ones who say that they want this life, it's like, you really got to love this. And I think that's part of why we see pro athletes, you know, the ones that do have the longevity, those long careers, like a LeBron, year 23. It's like, dude, my hat is off to you, man. That is just 20 some years of discipline. Like, come on, man. So for me, looking back, I'm like, yeah, I'm just proud of the consistency of professionalism and excellence that I've been able, I guess, to achieve like the last like 10 years.
I mean, I don't know if it was specifically this year, but it sounds like a lot of like 2016 has set you up for basically your adult life.
Sure.
Right? Like, and this is also like social media was popping, right? Like you probably were getting like tons of followers, like putting the whole thing together and just like getting exposure that way. And that like it just does kind of set you up, like getting that type of experience, not just as an athlete, but also as like someone who's going to be a professional is in this avenue. It's hard to come by. So like it seems like this was just a year that really kind of set you up.
For sure. And on the social media side, I used to love, and this is when Instagram was really blowing up. I used to love filming all the things that I would do, and then I'd come home, lay on the couch, and like stitch it all together and find a great song to put onto it because I had all that time, you know, to do it, and I wanted people to see what I was doing. I thought what I was doing was really cool, and I did that. Like if you look at my followers on Instagram, a lot of, you know, I would say half of it is from HYROX. The other half is from like building up through my Spartan days. I was religious with the Instagram content in 2016. And I think that's why you know, there's many reasons why I don't post as much as I did 10 years ago, having less time throughout the day being the main one. But like, dude, I've just been grinding away with the content for so long that I just got exhausted by it. And that's just really why I don't do it as much. I do on occasion post actual posts. I story all the time, but like posting, man, I'm just like, I've just been there, done that kind of thing. And I'm just tired by it. That's all I can really say.
Or at least at the time you were like, hey, this is valuable. This is going to be good for my life.
For sure.
To do this. And it is. Like, regardless of like, as annoying as it is. And I think, when we think about this sometimes, like, this isn't the case for us necessarily, but like the perception that you can put out there is almost as important as like your results for like,
definitely
in terms of attention, which is just
we
like,
could say a lot about this topic, guys.
we can do that could be a whole nother situation that you know, we don't need to be blasting on, but at the time, like, yeah, man, you were just doing the thing, dude. I'm like excited for that 30-year-old dude just out there like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it.
And what's crazy is, man, in another 10 years, because this honestly it doesn't feel like yesterday, but it also doesn't feel like it was 10 years ago. I'm like, dang, dude, if I do that another 10 years, I'm 50. Like, what? It's I don't know, man. Life be moving quick, dude.
MJ, I think that you were in not this situation.
Definitely not. My story is very not like that.
It might be. Is it like opposite?
Mine's like real sad, actually. We might cry again. No, I'm just kidding. I actually posted this. I actually posted a little bit. I was wondering if you had seen my story before you texted us the topic, because I actually touched on this in my story literally last night. I was seeing all these posts, and then I was like looking through my pictures just to see if I had any. And then I realized like where I was going in life, and it was not great. So in 2016, I was getting divorced, and which I honestly don't even consider that. I don't consider that situation a marriage, because
you were just
when you break vows very early in and it doesn't last long, I don't think that I didn't break them, by the way. I don't think that really equates to anything. But
you were 23.
I was 20. I was 24,
24.
turning,
Okay.
yeah. And I was 20, I just turned 25. Or it was 24, 25. And I finally had enough and I packed up 3 suitcases. I was living in Hawaii, packed up 3 suitcases with everything I could fit in of mine and Mila's. Mila was a year and a half old.
That's
Took my
crazy.
jogging stroller, took my car seat, got a ride to the airport, and booked a one-way flight home to New York to completely start over my life. And I moved in with my parents. I didn't have a job. I thankfully had a buddy that I grew up with who had just bought a bar, and I was like, yo, you need a bartender? I can talk to me, but I don't know a single drink. I don't even drink. I was not a partier. But I'm like, I can talk to people, you know that. So like we can make something work. He's like, yeah, you're hired. So I started bartending because I could work nights then. Because Mila was a baby and I was still nursing even at this time. So like we were very like in the throes of motherhood. And I started assistant coaching my high school cross country team. Then I took over as head coach the next year. But I was in a very hard phase of life at this time, trying to discover myself, going through becoming a single parent. And I was a full-time single mom, full-time, because, her dad was in the military, obviously in Hawaii. So I had, just my parents to rely on, and I had to figure out how I was going to provide for a child. And so I had some debt from that situation. I bartended, paid it all off in a couple months. Then I got a full-time job when Mila turned about 2-ish, and I felt a little more comfortable with her going to like a daycare. And then 1 year later, I bought my first house. So
Wow.
your girl is a financial hustler, let me say. I was a hustler and I was training a ton because I was depressed as fuck. So I was running a lot back in this time. I was not competing in anything. I didn't start racing again, even road racing, until I was probably like 2017, 2018. So I was just running every single day with Mila in the jogger from
Had you found the weight room at this point?
Yeah. So when I lived in Hawaii, I didn't have the means to pay for a membership because I was staying home with her. And I was, again, your girl's always finding a way to make money. So I wanted to stay home, but I needed to make money. So I started nannying.
Nice.
So I nannied for a really nice, very financially secure family. I made a good amount of money, what I needed to pay my bills
Heck yeah.
and to put a little aside. But I was running every single day, like 60 to 90 minutes a day, dead serious, because that was Mila's nap. One of her naps was my run time. So 6-7 days a week I was running. I was doing body weight stuff at home. I always had a couple sets of dumbbells, was doing anything I could to like get strength work in, but always at home with her. So when I moved home and I finally had like my parents to help a little bit more, that's when I was able to kind of really get back into the gym. And there were more affordable gyms that had daycares I could afford. So I would get like 2 hours at the gym with the daycare. And then I could, like on the weekend, I would try not to during the week because I felt bad. I was always having the mom guilt of like working and being gone already. But on the weekends, it was like, okay, going to the gym. I get 2 hours on Saturday and Sunday to like go lift. And yeah. And then when I started coaching again, that really kind of re-sparked the competitive, like I want to start racing again. And again, I started having more support and more, help. I was a single mother before I had my baby. So it was very, very challenging. I did not have for almost 2 years, one single workout alone. That was really hard because this is such a big part of me in my life, and to like not have any time like for myself alone or like uninterrupted. And I know you guys now have kids and like it's hard to like you just want like 45 minutes just to like get this workout done and not have to stop and like breastfeed or like, like make a baby stop crying. And so that was a really hard phase. But yeah, it makes my reflection the other night was I had no money. I'm not even kidding. Like to the point where I had booked my flight that took almost all extra cash I had. It was like $1,000 ticket. I did not have enough money to pay for all my luggage. I was begging the woman. I was like, "Listen, I'm getting divorced. Can you please?" And I'm too prideful to ask my parents for help. So like, of course, my dad would have immediately sent me the money. Like that's not a thing. My parents do. They're,
And it probably
I
wasn't
had a
that much
great
money.
life.
Yeah, it was like
It was
probably-
like $400. Like
Right.
this is not a big deal. But
At
for
the
me,
time.
like in that moment, I've never in my life felt like a bigger failure than that. Like everything, I was like, I'm failing at everything. You know what I mean? Like, even though I know, and then now, like, I'm so happy I made those choices, and that was 100% the right decision for me. In that moment, I was like, am I fucking up my daughter's life? You have all these questions. And so it was really, really hard. I was really, really sad. I was really thin. I wasn't in a good health. I was not healthy. I was definitely under eating. This was like the only time in my life where like I can like look back and reflect that I had like some issues with that. Definitely training a lot and not eating enough because I was in a very sad state of life. And then of course like some postpartum stuff. I was young, didn't know anything about that. So I was having a time. But then honestly, like it makes these moments, like what I'm going through right now, feel like not that hard. Like, dude, my knee's bad, but my life is everything I dreamed it could ever be. I'm in the healthiest relationship that I could possibly have. I'm so madly in love with my partner. I didn't for a long time. I didn't even know if I was going to have that, let alone then like I got a corporate job, you know what I mean? I worked my way up in the company as a single. I was actually looking up some stats, like just to like really think about my life and how grateful I am to be where I am. Even like just a few years after that, at my corporate job, with my odds and my circumstances, like to be earning what I was earning as a single mother and then buying a house like on my own, like I surpassed so many odds. Like that was, and my just like what my income level was. It was like I just worked my ass off and I was like, I'm not going to be a failure. You know what I mean? Like I'm a smart, educated woman and I'm going to make something of myself. And then taking that next leap to like try HYROX again in my circumstances, like even my parents were like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Because I have a mortgage, like I have, a child I'm trying to save for college. I need income. I have no one else to depend on but me. But that also is why I've become because of that I've become successful, and I'm very, very proud. And this is certainly not to boast, but like I'm earning more than I ever probably could have at that company by betting on myself, by making smart decisions, by diversifying myself financially, by being smart about saving and putting money away, investing. I, in 1 year, paid off my house, paid off my car, and paid off my student loans. My first full year being a professional HYROX athlete. And that is at 32. And that is something I'm damn proud of, because it also took a lot of buckling down, like getting that prize money, wanting to spend it, not spending it, you know what I mean? Trying to figure out how I can keep earning, I was very good at like pretending that I don't have this, and living off of like what I know I have. And it's gotten me really far. And now, um, I'm really proud to like have kind of beat the circumstances that I think were challenging. And most people, unfortunately, this is really sad, but of course, most women in those circumstances where they are a full-time single parent, they're not getting a lot of support. It's extremely, especially when your children are really little, young, daycare is very expensive, childcare is very expensive. The mom guilt is huge. Like just getting out of that situation is something besides the HYROX. Like the accolades and stuff are cool, great, but this is like the most proud thing I've ever accomplished in my life. And
It sounds
to
like
be financially free when you lived like that, paycheck to paycheck, with a mortgage and a child to feed, and that's the most terrifying feeling. That is pressure. You know what I mean? And to like be able to figure that out, and then it surpassed my own expectations of myself and what I thought I needed to do to like be okay and be comfortable. I'm very, very proud of that. So it wasn't a
your
fun time in
grinds.
2016, but
Been on your hustle.
grinding out my life. You know that song? That's me right there.
So like this, from what I understand, was probably the lowest. Was this close to rock
Yeah.
bottom? Would you
that's
say?
I was going to use the
was
term rock
rock
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
This was rock
probably
bottom. Yeah, I'm 25 and I'm divorced and a single parent and I don't have a job. Like I
But it's
was
also where you
terrified.
started climbing out of the hole. That's when
Hell
everything
yeah.
started going the other direction too.
Your girl's amazing at climbing out of deep, deep holes. like you cannot break someone who refuses to quit, and that is me. I refuse to quit. I refuse to just accept like average. I was just like, I'm better than that. Like I have more to offer. I'm better than my circumstances. Like that's what I always believed. I actually remember saying to Rich that like early on in the HYROX days, where I was like, I remember asking you, you came to Binghamton and we did a workout together. And I said, have you ever felt like you have more to give, but you don't know how to do it? But it's like in there, like, you're meant for something bigger, but you don't know what it is, or you're just not there yet. And I said, that's how I feel. And like that feeling inside, when you know you have that inside of you, like my whole last decade is proof that like I just trusted that and I just went with it. And anything I could find or do, like to earn or to better my life or to better my circumstances, to better my daughter's life, I was so willing to do. Like I never turned my nose up to anything. I never thought I was too good for any job. I worked for a trucking company for a while. Like I bartended. I don't even like bars. You know what I mean? And I dealt with not cool, fun people to be around. You know what I mean? But I was never too good for something. And like every time I would like do better and do better and do better. And then like, here we are, so I don't know. Hopefully that helps inspire
It's
some
crazy
people.
how much your life can change in 10 years.
10 years.
And like think of where we're all at right now, and then try to fast forward another 10 years and us having this similar conversation again. It's like there's a real good chance that we're all in like a different place.
For sure.
Like,
So.
I live on an island in Europe with a German boyfriend, and I just invested in my first real estate property. Like, who the fuck?
Right.
How did this happen? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
And I think anyone who is in a bad way right now, like it's kind of a good lesson that
it's
like,
not
hey,
forever.
you can turn your life around.
Just
like
don't quit.
It can
Seriously.
happen.
It's so hard, but just don't quit. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
I did this kind of exercise recently where kind of going through basically every moment of life from basically like as I was like an adult, like being 18 through now, and doing like peaks and valleys of it all. And it is interesting like seeing what that's like. For me, like this year was also pretty close to rock bottom, if not all the way there. And from this moment, this is what the 2016 also kind of set me up to like pull out of it. I was also in a very bad relationship. My circumstances were much different than yours, Meg, because of like I didn't have another human. There wasn't that other pressure for sure, but fairly similar. Just like the things that I was doing was a lot of it was to try to appease this relationship that just like I didn't know better to not be in,
Yeah.
you know, and it was, I was drinking a lot. Like that had been part of my like lifestyle. Just like in college, I didn't have a great collegiate career because I would just drank too much, to be honest. And like coming out of it, it was just like what the people around me did. And then I got in this relationship with this person who also was just like relied on it so much. It just like became part of my life. And I had a lot of fun, but I didn't realize in that moment that that year was probably the worst year that I've had. I had a job that was really bad. I was working a job that I liked, but then I was working in I felt pressure because of this relationship to leave that job to move to this other job, which was in a call center. So I was like on phones, like you get those numbers that say your area code and you're like, oh, what's this? And then it was me trying to like sell you something and just being told to fuck off all day long.
Oh
8
my
hours a
God.
day, just sitting at a desk. Like I wasn't even dialing
I
numbers.
block those numbers all the time.
Like, and if you didn't, it would be me. Be
They
like, hey
come-
man,
Dude, then they call you back with the same number, but the one of the digits changes by like 1.
changes a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's messed up because it's like, especially it's always from like your hometown, right? So you're like, is something
Right.
wrong? Is this like a hospital? You know? But yeah, I was miserable. I was just like miserable most of the time. And I was training before in 2015, end of 2015, I ran my first marathon. And I remember I was doing a lot of CrossFit as well. And I remember there was a period where I did like a 17-mile run, and either like the day before or after, I had done a squat clean of like 250. So I was like doing the hybrid thing then, but it wasn't like a thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I was still like running. And then so it was 2016. Like I was aware of Spartan race. The first Spartan race I did was 2013. It was a stadium. Then I kind of put on the back burner. I was just doing CrossFit. I wasn't really running as much. And then 16, I was like, okay, I'm going to see what I'm going to try to do this thing. And I did a couple races and got murdered, absolutely crushed. So, and I did Jersey.
Did you know who I was at that time or no?
No, hell no.
You didn't? You weren't. So you weren't following. I mean that seriously. Were you not following like the elite side of the sport? Or
I think because Killian won in 15, right?
yes.
I knew who he was.
Okay.
And I'm just how I am. So I was like, everybody that I didn't.
Did you know who like Hunter or Isaiah, any of those guys were?
When did I come across Hunter? Hunter was kind of doing CrossFit too. So he was on like a podcast that I listened to. So I think I came across him early, but I thought everybody was a clown. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to chump these dudes when I
smoke
started
all
doing
these guys.
it. But then when I started doing it, I did not smoke anybody. And that was a really good lesson to learn, especially coming now into HYROX, is like, hey, just because you think you're capable doesn't mean like you're going to step in.
You are?
Yes. Doesn't mean you're going to step in and show that you could, like, there is a real amount of work, even if you think you are like this or that as an athlete, which I think a lot of people come into HYROX being like, I'm an elite athlete. I was like, my whole life I've been an elite athlete in something, but then they come into this and I think that that's going to happen for them. So it was a good lesson that I learned in 16 is like, no, like there needs to be like a real dedication, because there's dudes like Ryan Kent out there, Ryan Killian, Robert Killian out there who are just like completely dedicated to this. And they are going to do whatever it takes to like be the best at it. And that is definitely a lesson that translated into the HYROX world as well. Cause I kind of felt the same thing coming to HYROX, got starched a couple times. I was like, okay, I got to like really put my head down and like work at this. So I did New Jersey that year, Palmerton. Were you at any of these? I don't,
maybe
New
not
Jer-
those years. Palmerton, I was not New Jersey.
New Jersey, I think Frankie DeSomo won. There was no big names there. Palmerton, I forget who won that year, but I was just getting crushed. But I had qualified for Worlds. I did run Tahoe in 16.
Okay.
How'd you finish out there?
2016, I think I was 8th or 9th.
Nice. So you're disappointed though?
Yeah, because the year before I was 5th.
Oh, shoot.
My first year I was 5th. So then I came back the next year and actually got worse.
Fuck. I was like in the 30s. It was my first time running at altitude. And I was like, okay with it. I was like, man, and it was just like,
These courses were crazy, by the way. And some of this stuff, like, honestly feels like it wouldn't fly nowadays. I mean,
it was stupid, legitimately dumb. A lot of it. It's like
very
how
dangerous stuff.
it's super dangerous. Putting in cold ass water at like 10,000 feet is just 7,000 feet probably, but it's just craziness.
Rich, were you in Philly at this time?
I was. Yeah, I had been living in Philly. I moved there when I think I was 26 and 27. So yeah, I was 29 turning 30. Yeah, so I was just living that. I was just out there. So yeah, and talk about money. I was making not much. I remember going to this shitty job. I had to put, because it was a call center job. This is like, it was all like, I think it was minimum wage. And
I can't think of anything I'd rather do less.
It was crazy.
Oh my God.
I can't believe there was this company, it had a lot of good positive press in the area. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And again, I kind of felt pressured to do it. But like, yeah, it was like minimum wage, and it also was very heavily commission based. Pretty close. Like I was probably making like, I think the salary may have been like 35K, but I had this incentive bonus structure that seemed really promising. But like, you had to be a hardcore, and I did okay, but you had to be like a hardcore salesperson. This is like, you're selling on the phone. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to put gas on my credit card to get to work because I didn't have enough cash to pay for gas. So I'm losing money going to work. I'm putting myself in a hole just to get there.
Yeah.
So that was, and by the end of that year, I had quit. In November, I quit, and then I pushed my chips into the fitness thing. First, when I quit, I just started driving Lyft because I had no money. So I was just like a Lyft driver around Philly. Saw a lot of interesting things, many interesting conversations. I did that for a while too.
I did not know that.
I was just like grinding away. I had like this old ass Saturn. Remember Saturns?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The air conditioning didn't. No, the heat didn't work. So I was doing it like in the dead of winter. And like,
CB's getting real shit reviews.
It would work when the car would move, but like it would come to a stop and the heat wouldn't work, and it would just get real cold in there. And I'm freezing. I had like a huge jacket on doing this thing. I'd get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to do it because that was when like the good rides were, people going to work. And then I would train. I would go and like do like classes or like train people in person sporadically, but I didn't have like a big book of business, right? Because you kind of have to build that up to like do like the fitness professional thing. And that really kind of led to this hustle of just like really putting it, like patching it together, doing a bunch of things, trying to pursue ultimately what set me up for where we are now, right? Like I was like, I had the idea of online like coaching. So every minute that I didn't have to like coach somebody, to like train somebody in person, do a class or drive Lyft, I was like on my computer, like trying to do like figure out how to do like the blog stuff, internet stuff, like how to kind of get my message out there, or just like figuring out like how to curate my message, like take it from my brain and put it onto something to then like deliver to others. And you know, a lot of it just went into the ether, went to nobody because I wasn't anybody. I was just like trying hard, trying my best, but like it didn't have like huge accolades. Like I was a good runner. I thought I knew what I was doing, but like nobody really cares.
When did you start the Reinforced Running podcast?
That was 17. That was the next year.
Okay.
That was the next year. And I remember I just had like headphones like this. I was sitting on the floor of our apartment that we had because like I didn't have like a desk or anything. So I was like sit on the floor on like this little beanbag pillow and just like talking to, I can't even imagine what that content was like. I'm not going to go back and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and skip those. So like, but then
it's out there,
right?
Probably though still, right? Yeah. Can you
go back and listen
to that stuff or no?
I think so. I mean,
is it on? Would it now be under RMR or would it be a whole separate thing?
Yeah, I think I got rid of some of the very first that I was just like, this can't be on the internet anymore.
Would come back and find you and haunt you.
But I think there are like early episodes from 17 still on this feed that I would not, unless you're just like unless you're hurting as well and you just want to go back and see how terrible things can be and like how you can kind of come out of it, do it. Go back and listen, and for like 5 minutes be like, we're good. But yeah, by the end it was like started to kind of crawl myself out. That relationship ended right at the end of that year as well. And so 17 was kind of like my rebirth year, like trying to be like, okay, I'm on my own. I'm going to like not drink as much. That was part of the relationship that really kind of fell apart. I was like, I don't think I want to drink like this anymore. And it didn't go over well. And then I realized like this person doesn't care about me, right? Like this is not like, this is like codependent for her to like have her shitty behaviors, like, and me just to kind of be around with it. So I just like stopped drinking for an extended period. And like lived by myself, same kind of thing. I had like this closet of a apartment. There was like I thought it was cool. I thought I liked it, but there was definitely like cockroaches and mice and shit all over the place. Like this wasn't in a terrible neighborhood in Philly, but it was just like not a nice apartment. But I was about it. I was like, I didn't have a closet, just had like a bed, like a full size bed was like the whole entire room. But I was like hustling, man. I would pop on my bike, go do a class at like 5:30, like ride my bike across to another gym, do like another like in-person training, and yeah, and then just like sit in a coffee shop in between. So like, yeah, like this year was really the year that one taught me from a physical standpoint, from a training standpoint, like I have to do more. Like there are people out here doing more and I can do more. And to really like find the success that I want, I have to like really commit. You can't just show up and like be awesome, right? It just doesn't work like that. Or Kent, your Spartan race, it was kind of was like that, right? You kind of did just show up and just starched people.
I did not. That first one I got smoked.
Oh, I thought the second one though, like you were
the second one, but that was to your point, what you were saying. When I went into that first one, I was doing what I thought needed to be done, and then realizing after the fact, oh, I need to be training more and doing things a little bit differently. And I like doubled down, and it fucking paid off.
So that certainly set the foundation for me as well. And it took a long time. Like I never found incredible success in Spartan. Like I did okay. Just like the circumstances weren't right. I didn't really like it that much. But then when HYROX showed up, I was kind of doing the hybrid thing already, and I committed back into running. And again, this year kind of set that foundation, and also the foundation of like betting on myself. Meg, kind of how you were saying, it's like, I need to find out, like this life that I'm living is just like not it. Like I can't be like, sure, I could be miserable my whole life, but I would be choosing to do so. And I had to just at least find out. And I was out there like hustling and like not making zero money. Like my social life was really like poor. Like I just didn't have a lot going on, but I was just like so much happier than I had been the previous years, just because I felt like I was doing something that had value and that I felt like I could like be proud of doing. Where a lot of times people kind of get into fitness as like this bridge between, you know, people are personal trainers because they're like, they just kind of like don't really know what else to do. You know, it's like kind of like this bridge where they can't make money. Not unlike bartending, honestly. Like I feel like a lot of times people get into fitness for that reason, to kind of bridge this gap to pay for their meals. But I didn't feel that way. I was like, hey, this is what I care about. Like I want to be a professional at this. And believing that that was a thing that could happen. I didn't know that, like, I think there's a lot of luck and circumstance, right? Like HYROX came across, like meeting people like you, having awesome relationships with people like you guys is just like something I couldn't have like written down in 2016, 17, but it was worth trying to find out. It was worth trying
for sure.
So yeah, not a great year in retrospect. Like I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, no, I think 16 was okay. And then I started looking back at what I was doing and I was like, oh no, this was not a good year. I was having fun, but it was only because I was just like drinking a ton. And just
so
like,
would you say back then, like when you started coming home, like all the free time that you had, like you were, you know, on your computer doing all that stuff. So it seems like your dream was actually to be more of a coach than an athlete, I guess, from the jump.
For sure.
Would I be correct in that?
Even in just like the past like year or 2 years maybe is where I really started to be like, oh, like there's like this athlete thing could kind of happen at this point. But I've always considered myself a coach in terms of like my like profession. And that was the idea. I met a dude who was a run coach. This was probably a year prior. And I was like, so what? I was like, I met this guy and he said he was running coach, whatever. And then he like left and I talked to, and this other guy who I was with knew him. And I was like, he's a run coach. Like, what else does he do? He's like, oh, that's all he does. He's like, that's like his job. I'm like, what? I was like, you can just do that? And that's when it all was like, then I started to like really start to try to learn about like the marketing, the SEO, the online. I was like, you can just be a running coach. Cause I always thought like you had to go punch your ticket. Someone had to pay you. And then it really is like, okay, I don't really have a lot of like real world skills in terms of the business world. Like I didn't have a great education. I was not a good student. I didn't come out with anything to be like, hire me. And because I got bad grades, I didn't have any belief in myself that I could actually bring a positive benefit to like a company, unless they wanted to hang out at happy hour. I'd be a great time. Culture wise, people would love it, but business wise, I probably couldn't help. But so yeah, once that kind of seed got planted, that was 2016, I think 15. That was when it was like, okay, like I got to find out.
Yeah, mine's like the opposite. I mean, I thought coaching was cool because my college coach was in his late 20s when I was in school, and he was still running professionally at the time. And I was like, oh man, this could be a fun job, like coaching at a university. So that was kind of like ultimately what I wanted to do one day, was coach track and field cross country at like a big D1 school, like Oregon or something like that. But then I had my opportunity to be a professional athlete. And honestly, like especially early on, I did not really care at all about coaching. It was just like, how good can I get at this stuff? So coaching has become more prominent in my life recently.
The past couple of years. Yeah. Like you've really embraced it. Yeah.
Where yours has kind of been like flip-flopped a little bit. Like you coached early. That was your main focus. And you realized, almost like you said in the last couple of years, like, oh, I can be pretty good at HYROX here in my late 30s. And
still in my 30s.
And now you're balancing both of these. That's right. Balancing both of these things. And I don't know, it's just interesting.
I was like Meg, where I also was coaching at a local high school. And I would have loved to.
We all did that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so fun. I did it for
it's the best gig. If only it paid more.
I got paid $500 a season, and I was like,
that's it.
I was like,
damn, I was making bank compared to you.
I was doing a volunteer, and like the booster would pay me. I was just showing up because I wanted to do it. And they paid me $500. I was like, when that $500 came, I was like, hell yeah. Damn.
I was making $7K a season.
What?
Damn. Was that
I was a head coach. I was a head coach. So.
I was a volunteer. I wasn't like actually on the payroll.
Yeah. And I coached for 5 years. So my first HYROX season, I was still coaching cross country too, and working full time. I have no idea how I was like living. I was like, okay, guys, we're going to do this track workout, and I'm going to do it with you because I have to.
And then I was like, that was crazy.
It was insane. And then I was like, I have to give this up if I'm going to try to do this HYROX thing. And, but I'll never forget, like my second race, when I broke a world record, I come home and my team was like,
I remember this.
Oh my God. Yeah. They had like signs and stuff. It was so cute. And they all still like follow me, and they'll message me and be like, Coach, you're so amazing. It's so crazy what you've done with this. So
they're adults now.
It's been a cool journey.
Can't you did some?
I did. Yeah. I coached at my rival high school.
Nice.
In my hometown. Went right just before I got introduced to Spartan race. And then I coached for the rest of that cross country season, and then indoor. And then after indoor, I left and was full on, because I was like, I'm going to be traveling too much. Races are on the weekends and all that stuff. But they adopted the Spartan, like, because I'd come in and they'd watch some of the races and stuff, and they said all the Spartan up and Spartan the fuck up, like all this stuff. And that was like part of our thing at track practice, like if anyone was tired or whatever, slacking off, be like, Spartan the fuck up. Yeah, it was just good times, man. Simpler times, at least for me.
Totally. Really fun.
I've
really fun,
had
the early ones.
I've had 3 former athletes of mine actually try HYROX themselves too.
No way. Influence.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Influence
been cool.
all across the board. How'd they do?
Yeah. It was just for fun, you know. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think it's like when I was thinking about just like this concept, none of us came up and knew this was going to be a thing, right? There are athletes now who are going to have the ability to be like, who might be 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, who have not really had to go into that like hard time of life. You know, Meg, it's hard to be like a 24, 25, 26-year-old in general, but like to have a kid and do that, like that part of life where a lot of times you're kind of rising into your physical peak, for us was really hard. And I think it still would be really hard for people to do that. But there's gonna be younger kids who are not even having to experience that, who can be like, that's something that I want to do. And it was just like not even an idea when we were that age that we could have a career or a living in sport.
I mean, we have it happening right now on the women's side where you have like fresh 22-year-olds. I'm not sure. I think they were studying in college or something, and then are now just full-time athletes at like 22 years old.
That's wild.
And like just did a couple races and like got sponsors. Like that's like kind of insane for like us all to think about, like how hard we grinded to like even have a sponsor conversation, you know what I mean? Or
free stuff like Kent was
to
saying.
get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember like my early days where like every brand was just like, I'll send you something for free. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I'm just taking everything.
Oh yeah.
You're like, all right. And then, you know, I'll pay you this much to come do this competition. I'm like, okay, it's like $500. You know what I mean? Like it was not the same as what it is now. That's for sure. So yeah.
It's interesting.
So I mean, to our younger people, you're welcome. We helped pave the way for you a
We're
bit.
like trailblazers, pioneers.
We're
Pioneers, baby.
trailblazers. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny when you like connect the dots though, and to get to where you're at right now, like it all kind of makes sense, like where we're all
Absolutely.
at right now. And sometimes I do think back to 1 or 2 instances in my life where I'm like, man, if this didn't happen, there's like no chance that I would be on the path that I'm on right now. You know, I can think of 2 very in particular like instances where I'm like, okay, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have gone down this path. And then when I was on that path, this happened, which led me to this other path. And like, there's a very real chance that I never would have done any of this had like 2 things in my life gone like a little bit different. Right. It's crazy to think that life kind of can come down to just like 1 or 2 moments or decisions in your life. And if you choose the right one, it can lead you maybe down the path that you were always meant to be on. You take the wrong one and who knows what's around that corner. But
and that's like
kind of crazy.
For better or worse, right? Like Meg and I story, at least in this year, and Ryan, you had stuff earlier than this probably that was just like, man, like this is not what I thought I wanted to be doing.
100%.
But I wouldn't take back. I would do things differently. Like if I had to go back and like tell myself, be like, let's kind of not even get into this relationship. Let's not do this whole path. But I'm so grateful for where I am now, that experience is just part of it that shaped it. Maybe I wouldn't have had that. Maybe there'd be like a slight different perspective or edge that I would have that would be negative. So even having these terrible experiences, I mean, like you know, like Meg's
it all
story,
served a purpose.
Yeah, it shapes who we are now, and very grateful to be in this position now. So I don't think that wouldn't change anything.
For sure.
Agreed.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. What a good
We'll
trend.
do this again in 10 years.
Yeah, when we're 50, we're gonna be looking back.
I wonder as you get older though, like the difference in kind of where you're at in your life isn't as drastic from like 20 to 30 and then like 30 to 40.
More stable.
Probably. Yeah. We'll see.
A little more wise. We have these experiences that we can be like, I did that before and it didn't work. That's also
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be in Phoenix. Kent and I. Kent, you're racing on.
I'm on Saturday. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really excited to race with Colin again because I believe in us as a team. But I wish I was racing solo. Not
get your
gonna
solo
lie,
on.
because your boy is fit right now.
Man, like, I mean, you got to be circling DC. That's it.
Oh, for sure.
That's
For
it.
sure. Yeah.
Are you gonna do Vegas?
No, Vegas.
Okay, so you're gonna do Phoenix.
I
and
was
just
supposed
figure
to
out
be in
what you're
Colorado
doing.
this month, but I postponed it to next month. So I'll be in Colorado for a couple weeks leading into that. I intentionally did this for this reason. Leading into that regional championship.
Nice. Yeah,
so I have a little altitude boost. Get my fitness as high as I can get it here at sea level, go up to altitude, boost it up even more, come back down and smoke everyone.
I like it.
So, Rich, you better freaking show out. I'll be in your corner in Phoenix.
Yeah,
get your spot.
Got Coach Kent in my corners. I had Coach MJ in Hamburg. Got
Nice.
Coach Kent lining up with me. I'm excited about that. It's gonna be cool.
I would love for Rich to get his spot. I would love for Cole to get his spot, and
then it's
really anyone in North America. I mean, it'd be great. Just less people to deal with.
And it's then it's gonna be like the last couple races that you had, the battles that you've been going. It's like those people you know
sure.
them, and then it's open.
Yep. Meg, are you coming? Or you're not coming out? I know you're not obviously racing.
No, I'm not because I don't want to interrupt. It's like right in the middle of this treatment cycle I'm doing, so I don't want to interrupt anything with that. So I was like, it's probably I should not do that. So I'm not going to be there, and I don't have any plans. So I'm not gonna
just get better.
Everybody is always very disappointed, and they like to remind me how disappointed they are when I can't go somewhere. So I'm not going to share anymore where I'm going to be.
A surprise.
I'm going to show up.
You can catch MJ at your local Pilates class.
Yeah.
On the Reformer.
Listen, this core.
Strong. Follow
Strong.
for Pilates and hot yoga tip. You been in yoga yet?
No, I don't fuck with yoga. It's too. But all of those things, the core, they killed that deep core burn. It's crazy, but it's all way too holistic for me. You know me. I want someone talking shit. Like, you get your ass up, Meg. Get your ass up. Like, I don't want that, like, and center your body and ground yourself. And I don't, that doesn't get me.
I like my yoga to be
can't with that.
My problem with yoga when it's like a power yoga, it's like a little bit too hard to be enjoyable, but not hard enough to be like a workout. Like, I'd rather just do like some vinyasa, just a flow. I want it to be holistic if I'm doing yoga, because it's like I'm not going there for like a workout. And when it is a workout, I don't like it. It's like a little bit harder than I want it to be.
100%.
Yeah.
Sitting in a chair pose for too long.
I am in zone 3 right now.
It's like just like burning up. All right, word. I will also be in Phoenix singles and doubles. I'm thinking Vegas and then DC. It's happening.
Nice.
What are you racing in Vegas?
I'll probably do we don't know exactly how the system is working. We have like the idea, like they didn't send out a big like this is what to expect. I need some more races. I need to like set myself up for next year, because like the races are going to count like for the fall. So I just need I need 5 races. So I need to like, if I leave it to the fall, like there's like Toronto in October, that might not even fucking count.
Dude, I went down this rabbit hole and I was like, nope, I can't even go there. I can't even worry about it yet.
No.
But yeah, it's not it was what I had said when I had heard this news. I said, this is not going to be good for anybody going through an injury. So
no. I mean,
this was before I got hurt. I said that. So I was like, oof. And now here we are.
None of the season systems are good for that, because like you kind of need to like be ready to race all year to get a time, to get 2 times, and then bet into a major. Like none of it's athlete friendly, but this one's going to be pretty tough. 5, like trying to do five events, especially in North America when they're all just like back to back. I didn't do any fall races. So I got to do these. I got to do the ones that are here. when I can.
Yeah.
So I'm doing solo. Long way to say I'm going to do solo pro in Vegas.
So potentially Phoenix, Vegas, and DC.
Mm-hmm. That's
Nice.
why I was looking at Houston and I was like, this is just too much.
Yeah.
That might kill me. So I
Yeah.
might do Ottawa, which is going to be May.
If I'm healthy and for whatever reason I don't get a qualification in the Elite 15, I've decided I will go and I will fucking clean up age groups. So you bitches better hope I get that spot. No, I'm just kidding. But
You'll race
but
in Stockholm?
yeah, I said
Oh,
I need races.
that's true.
So I'm gonna go win it. You know what I
That's true.
mean? Like, so I was like, okay, if I'm healthy by June, but I'm not like, maybe I'm not 100% there to race like Warsaw or DC, I said I would just go to Stockholm and because I've won 2 races, so technically I have a spot. You know what I mean? So
He does. Oh yeah. Right.
so that would at least give me a third option. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is like this pre-planning this far ahead for that number of races is
And they're not even
really challenging.
telling us. They just told the people in Melbourne. They haven't even like given an announcement
Yeah.
to the people who need to prepare. Right. Like if I didn't
Yeah.
know, I would just been like, I'm not
Right.
doing Vegas. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Right.
But now I kind of have to.
Yep.
And it's an easy flight from here. Word Squad, good one, long one, really
Yeah.
fun. Great seeing you all.
It's
Thanks,
a long
everybody,
run
for
episode.
Long run, zone 2. Get on them ergs. You'll be fine. You're welcome. All right, Squad. We'll talk to you soon.